so we actually get a trailer for a new Robert De Niro movie, which is called The War with Grandpa. Which the synopsis goes, upset that he has to share a room he loves with his grandfather, Peter decides to declare war in an attempt to get it back. This film is directed by Tim Hill and is written by Tom Astle, Matt Ember, and Robert Kimmel Smith, who actually who wrote the book for this, and is obviously credited as the author of the book. I said that in the weirdest way possible.
It took a long time for that.
This film stars Robert De Niro, Oaks Fegley, Uma Thurman, Christopher Walken, Jane Seymour, and is due out on October 9th of this very year. What did you think of the trailer for The War with Grandpa?
So I actually thought the trailer for this was funny. Like, it was lighthearted. It's always funny to see Robert De Niro in these types of roles, especially when you think back to like where he came from, right? The movies he used to do versus, Raging Bull, and then we got this guy right here. So, I was watching this movie. I thought it was light. It looked fun. It looked interesting. I'm not going to go see this in theaters. But again, if this was like on Netflix, in a movie that like a new release or something that I could watch to have a good laugh on a random night, I would definitely check this out. I mean, great cast. We got Jane Seymour. I think Cheech and Chong makes an appearance in this movie. Uma Thurman, Christopher Walken.
Yeah,
Christopher Walken's in it.
You gotta see it. Yeah,
you can't. You have to give it like you have to give it a chance at least.
Yeah,
and then you add in the rest of this cast. The premise for this movie, it's funny, interesting.
Yeah, it reminds me of is it The Diary of a Wimpy Kid or something like that? Do you remember that movie?
I don't know if I ever saw it, but I think it had like a similar premise.
Yeah, to me, this movie is like a cross between Diary of a Wimpy Kid
like
and
Bad
then,
Grandpa,
and
kind of.
Bad Grandpa, which I think Robert De Niro was also in.
Was he in Bad Grandpa?
It was.
What was that, Johnny?
No, you're thinking they're two different, and maybe I'm getting the name wrong of mine, but I'm thinking of the movie with Zac Efron and Robert De Niro, where Robert De Niro, I think, was Zac Efron's granddad or something like that, and they were like on some sort of weird zany trip or some shit.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, not that many people do.
But
not
that many people do.
Yeah, but in any event, watching the trailer, it had some really nice laughs in it.
Yeah,
I thought some really, not something that's going to like, ha ha ha, but it was just like, oh, that's that's funny.
Yeah, I'm not paying $29.99 for this like they want for Mulan. But again, if it's on a streaming service that I subscribe to and it's not too expensive, I would check this out for sure.
Yeah, and I think that it seems like the cast, it's basically just like get the band back together, right? You got a lot of people who, they're pushing it in age.
Yeah, they're a bit up there. I mean, how old
is
is Christopher Walken? He's got to be at least like 70 something.
7,000 years old.
Yeah, him and Clint Eastwood are the same age.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood is old.
Yeah,
I can't even. He's so old. I can't even like come up with a reasonable joke.
Just old.
He's just old. But yeah, and so they all seem like they're kind of having fun. They're working together. Robert De Niro is always good in these type of situations. Ever since his Meet the Fockers. Meet the Parents days.
And I think that's when he really first like shed the image of like a more like tough, serious actor to like.
I don't think he shed it. He just he adopted the
sense of humor to it,
because he can still go dark, as we saw with the Irishman. He still has that dark sensibility, but yeah, he ever since Meet the Parents, I think he really sort of like leaned into this sort of like wholesome, like just like zany, funny, kind of.
And it's worked well for him.
It has, and so I think that's why they in this movie, at least it's being marketed as sort of like an homage to like kind of like the mafia kind of like war, like we even see like he gets like a little snake in his bed instead of the head in the head of a horse in the bed, like in The Godfather, and so this is an okay. Yeah, I also don't think I'll be spending $29.99 on this anytime soon, $30, but we'll see. This is actually coming out in theaters, so Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah. Just go ahead and bring those Lysol wipes with you.
Yeah.
You
If
might
I'm
need
if I'm
them,
in
yeah.
this if I'm an actor in this movie, I need to be paid up front. Our contract will not be based off of earnings of this film. I need cash in hand. I need the check
Yeah.
before we start filming.
Absolutely.